Hello, this is QAPC, and welcome to another commented arena run by myself. Here's truly QAPC. I did a bit of work to mess with my audio balance this time around, so if you think that my music and game volume is better or worse, that'd be a good thing to comment on. I'm gonna kind of trying to pick different classes each time, so I'm gonna go with Rogue here, even though I do prefer Mage. Rogue is actually a class that I haven't played a whole bunch in Arena. A lot of people say they're pretty good. I don't know, they're not really my style for some reason. I remember that's one of the classes I thought I'd first try in the game. But anyways, so it's Young Priestess or Blade Flurry. And Young Priestess is a bit awkward. Blade Flurry, I think, has got a lot of potential, so I'm going to pick it up. Defiance Ringleader seems like a pretty clear choice here. That seems like it's one of the core cards most people have in their rogue decks, from what I can tell playing against good rogue decks. Fan of Knives here, I think, is a pick. Sinister Strike's not the kind of thing you want. Direct damage to only hero, just not very versatile. Flesh Eating Ghoul is a card I like a fair bit. It can really get pretty big and become a serious threat. Zosi Deckhand is a card that I think is really good in rogue decks, just because you can give it charge pretty frequently, and a 2/1 with charge for 1 mana is pretty good, just even as just like removal spell, if nothing else. Kind of like faux removal almost. I do like the other cards in the pack alright too, but I like to have some of those 1-drops. I'm a big fan of Ventrico Mercenary. I like Loot Order a lot as well, but Ventrico Mercenary is a card that can really put you ahead in the mid game. Not too keen on another Fan of Knives. I'd much rather pick up a Mad Bomber. I like Mad Bomber, he gets me some value. Multiple Ventrico Mercenaries is a bit awkward, but I'm still happy with 2 of them. That said, Eviscerate is a pretty strong card as well, but I like Ventrico Mercenary for its potential to 2-for-1 and just give you a lot of good board advantage and card advantage. Lord of Arena I don't like at all. 6 health on a taunt creature for 5 health for 6 mana taunt, just not really worth it. He often will not succeed in 2-for-1ing, and he's just not that strong. I'd much rather take the Eviscerate here. A good selection of good rares here. Azir Drake is one of my favorite rares, and considering that rogues have a lot of spell damage, she does work pretty well in a rogue deck, I think. So I'm gonna grab her up. Although I'm running a bit heavy on the 5-cost cards. Sprint is. I'm not sure how much I like Sprint in Arena. I feel that it's a bit too slow. I really want to pick it, but that's really not my style, is to pick cards that do nothing. It's so greedy to just throw your whole turn away and commit nothing to the board just to gain card advantage. So for that reason, I'm going to grab the spell break. Also, I kind of empty on the 4-drops. Backstab I like. Backstab does a lot to gain early board control by just like if they play a 3/2 turn 2, you can just backstab it and then play your own guy and start to get ahead on board that way. I do like Fan of Knives as well, though, so I might take a Fan of Knives here, especially since I do have Nazir Drake, so to make Fan of Knives a little bit better. That said, I don't like having multiples, just in case you end up with both of them in your hand. It can be a bit awkward. I'm going to take the Backstab. I think Backstab's a card you almost always can find a use for. Betrayal's pretty good, I think. It can really punish them for committing too much to the board. That said, I really like 2-drop minions a lot, but I feel that Detail Leave Betrayal and its potential to 2-for-1 is just really high. Now, I think more than anything, I want to grab the Harvest Golem. I like those 1-drops, but the Harvest Golem is one of the most solid 3-drops there is. Headcrack is okay because of the combo, but 3 cost, 3 mana for 2 damage is just kind of meh. The Ancient Mage is actually alright in this deck, since I am a bit going for a fair amount of spell damage, but I really like Imp Master a lot more, I think. She's just kind of hard to deal with. She stays on the board. Another Betrayal. I don't really want to have 2 of them, so I'd rather have the Iron Beak Owl. I already have 1 Silence, so I think I'm going to go with the Shattered Sun Cleric, who's not that great in my deck because I'm a bit light on minions, so a card that buffs minions up is not so good. But Fairy Dragon is exactly the sort of card you want to synergize with the Shattered Sun Cleric. She works really well with her, so I'll grab one of her. I'm a big fan of Abusive Sergeant in general, but I like Harvest Golem more, even though I am so light on 1-drops. You don't necessarily want Abusive Sergeant just as a 1-drop. He's mainly good for the utility, but I like the Harvest Golem as one of my favorite 3-drops. Conceal is really good if you're going for a sort of buffing approach, which I'm really not doing. Like if you had a lot of cold bloods, you might blow out Conceal, or just guys will win for you to buff up. That said, I don't really like either of these other cards very much either. Tauren Warrior is honestly pretty underwhelming. Two attack for 3 mana. You're not going to get to use this in Rage very often. The Nightblade is pretty underwhelming as a 4/4 for 5 mana. Not really what you want there either. I'm going to take the Tauren Warrior just because he's mediocre. Alright, here's an interesting choice. I think the SI7 Agent's a really good rogue card, but the Auctioneer is a good card in general. And I do have a reasonably large number of spells to work with them, like four or five spells already. So it's really tempting to take the Auctioneer. He can just give you such immense value. But the SI7 Agent is fantastic for board control. If you're on the play and you drop this bad boy down with the coin on turn 2 and you essentially kill their guy and play one of your own, it's a really strong turn 2 play if you're like on the play and you can coin them out and kill their guy. But that said, I like the Auctioneer more. He's a much greedier pick, but he's got really high potential if you can keep on the board. The Elven Archer's a reasonable 1-drop, but I like the idea of rounding out my 2-drops a bit more. The Leper Gnome is sort of one of my favorite 1-drops, and War Golem is what I'd want to round out the higher end of the curve. I think the Leper Gnome is more important to me than working on my late game. Grab another Fairy Dragon here. I've got a lot of 2-drop minions now. I've rounded that out. Like I said, I don't like Tauren Warrior. I'd have one. I'll go for an Acolyte of Pain. He's not the best card in a rogue deck. Rogues don't really synergize with him at all, but oh well. Archmage, I guess, is pretty mediocre, but he's got 7 health. Mainly I take him just for his body. His spell damage thing, not that relevant. I need some more top end stuff. Grab another eviscerate here, probably, just for some more removal. It can also go to the face, that's important. It can be a finisher to the hero if you need to get that extra damage in. Deadly Poison is alright because I do have a Blade Flurry, and I haven't really picked up much to work with the Blade Flurry. I think it might be the Deadly Poison here. This is awkward. I don't really want many of these cards. The Argent Squire might be the pick too, though. I regret my Blade Flurry pick. I think I overestimated this card. Another Archmage, Argent Squire, or the Deadly Poison. I really want to just grab the Argent Squire. I'm going to take the Deadly Poison. See how it works out. I honestly don't know. So I could grab the Core Hand for the top end, or another backstab. I don't really like multiples, and it's important to have powerful top end. Core Hand, if you have board control when you play him, they just can't trade with him. He's a huge finisher to start going to the face and finishing them off. So I'll grab the Core Hand. 2 more picks to go, and Useful Brewmaster doesn't have a lot of synergy with my deck. I don't really have many battle cry effects that I want to abuse with him necessarily, but he's still reasonable 3/2 for 2, better than I feel the other cards here. And last but not least, I actually take all back, last and also least, Pint-Sized Summoner is pretty good. She's a big threat if they don't deal with her. I think just the threat and from her is more useful than the utility you get from the Crazed Alchemist. So I'll grab the Pint-Sized Summoner. I don't feel this is a very strong deck. It has a lot of 2/3 cost minions, which is the core of any good deck, but it doesn't really build beyond that core very well. It's got a couple of Ventrico Mercenaries for the more mid-game, and an Azir Drake is an okay card. I don't know, it's just the beyond 3, the cards that cost more than 3 is kind of where it falls off. Turn 4 in particular, the only 4 mana cost card I have is a Spellbreaker, which you often want for its utility more than anything else. But hopefully I've got so many 2-drops that on turn 4 I might just be plunking down a pair of 2-drops instead of actually playing one 4-drop card. Which is fine, that's often, most of the time, 2 2-drops commit more power to the board than one 4-drop will. You just have to be careful about getting board sweepered in return. See how the first match goes, the pivotal first match. I also don't like my lack of 1-drops. I really wish I had some more 1-drops. I picked up that 1 leper gnome instead of, I think, a war golem I could have grabbed instead. So it's a good choice with the leper gnome. I feel so confident in a game if I manage to play a 1-drop, just any 1-drop really. I find my win rate in the games where I play a 1-drop is so much higher than the ones when I don't. Tempted to mulligan all of these. Might keep the Harvest Golem just because it is so strong. A bit greedy, because I need to make sure I get a 2-drop card. Okay, I don't get the 2-drop, but I do get a Leper Gnome, which is similarly good. If I can draw a 2-drop here, well, I draw the Brewmaster, and he's awkward because I don't actually want to play him. Well, like, I don't know, it's awkward because I don't want to return the Leper Gnome to my hand. So not probably the worst 2-drop I could have drawn that's in my deck, but you work with what you're given sometimes. So I have the choice of, well, I'm definitely attacking. It's only a choice of do I want to weapon up or just drop the Brewmaster. And it's an awkward choice, to be honest, but I think I am going to just drop the Brewmaster. It sucks that I have to return the Leper Gnome to my hand, but I feel that this moves the most towards getting me some favorable board position. Just weaponing up wasn't really that useful, because turn 4 now I can play a Harvest. Like I said, I don't have any turn 4 plays, so I'll probably just be playing a Harvest Golem and replaying that Leper Gnome.
Reporting for duty.
Bit of a choice here. I could weapon up and play the Leper Gnome, which is probably what I'm going to do, honestly. That's a bit awkward because it will leave me with an inefficient turn next turn. I could be riskier and just play the Harvest Golem and not trade, or I could play the Harvest Golem trade. I think I'm actually going to end up playing the Imp Master and knocking out his minion. It's good to play the Imp Master sooner rather than later just to get out the most imps possible. I didn't want to leave his recruit on the board just in case he had a Shattered Sun Cleric, or even if he coined into a Defender of Argus, would have regretted that. Just anything can buff attack. There's just too many reasons for me to not want to leave his 1-1 on the table. Alright, so my opponent has not really done much other than popping some recruits, so I've managed to develop a pretty considerable board presence here. Hopefully he doesn't consecrate me on his next turn. That would suck, but I'm not gonna play around it. Just gonna commit my stuff to the board. Going to just trade away my imp for the recruit and start getting some damage in here. I do manage to draw the Azure Drake. That'll probably be my turn 5 play, unless I draw a 2-drop. I would probably prefer to play the 2-drop and the Harvest Golem. I have to be careful not to leave myself with so many minions on the board that my Imp Master can't make me a new Imp. So he's got a 5-drop. What is it, Venture Co? Venture Co will probably be a good 5-drop for him. Stampeding Kodo is getting... Oh, he got the Imp Master. I'll give him a well played. He got lucky there. But I can respect his luck. So I don't really want to trade with Kodo. Not a whole lot of point on that. I think I just want to play the Venture Co Mercenary and get really aggressive here. Press my board advantage as much as I can. And I'm just going to get some damage in. I really have him so low that he's in a lot of pressure here. Important to note that he can't consecrate and wipe my entire board. I would still have a Harvest Golem. I would still have a 4 health Venture Co, which would also survive being hit by his Kodo. All in all, I think I'm pretty confident in this one. My Venture Co Mercenary can take out his taunt guy, no problem. At this point, I probably will trade with the Kodo. I think it's time. Well, let's do the... Oh, I can't cast the Spellbreaker because it costs too much mana because of my silly Venture Co. That's alright. So I've got a bit of a choice here in how I want to kill this guy. I don't really want to leave it alive. Maybe I just will leave it alive at this point. If I leave it alive, it trades with the Ventrico, which is pretty bad. I think I want to kill it with the Harvest Golem, just to get that, summon the other Golem. I've got a pretty well established board. It's going to be pretty good spot for me, really. I can't think of what he could play to turn this around. It's too late for him to consecrate. Alder Peacekeeper is pretty good. I no longer have lethal. That was definitely one of the things he had to do, and he's even got some mana left over to do some other stuff. I might just trade away with his Peacekeeper just to get rid of my Ventrico at this point. He's more of a liability than anything, almost. Let's see. Bit awkward here, because if I kill the Ventrico Mercenary, then I can play the Azure Drake and the Fan of Knives, which I think is going to be the play. It seems like a really good line of play, as near as I can tell. Oh shoot, I'm an idiot. It costs one more mana than I thought I had. Oh well, could be worse. That's okay, I'm still going to play the Azure Drake. It's a bit too bad I can't use the Fan of Knives. Do a little bit of trading here. Blindside Summoner is a bit awkward because if he consecrates, she just dies, but I'm doing it anyway. If he consecrates me, I'm still left with the 4-2 and a 2-1 Harvest Golem follow-up. Okay, he's got a big dumb taunt guy. That's alright. I can kill that pretty easily. Okay, he's an even bigger dumb taunt guy. I'm fine with that. Slight question of how do I want to kill it. I can knock the shield off, and then... So I'm probably just going to throw this guy in. Actually, I could just... Actually, I'm stupid. I just play the Spellbreaker here, don't I? Overthinking that one. Spellbreaker and go for the kill. Alright, well that wasn't too terribly difficult. So yeah, like I said, a lot of the core of any good arena deck is usually the solid 2 and 3 drop creatures. As long as you have those, you can almost always get at least 5 or 6 wins. To build beyond that, you really start to need to have a lot of key, just really good value cards, like the value Yetis or the Fireballs. Whatever sort of core cards for your class are. I'm not sure what the core rogue cards would be. I feel that SI7 Agent, a card I actually didn't pick up, might be one of those core cards. It may have been foolish of me to not get it. Gotta keep the Fairy Dragon, mulligan the other things. Defias Friendly are not very good when you're on the play rather than the draw, when you're going first, that is. But a reasonably good opening hand. See if my opponent's got some Blood Imps. That's always the question against Warlocks, is how many Blood Imps they're going to play. Thankfully I've got Fan of Knives in this deck to deal with them a little bit. It's always awkward when they have got Blood Imps and you've just got no way to remove them. It makes it really hard to keep trading with them efficiently since they get that health buff on all their stuff for the rest of the game. It's hard. He's coining into Imp Master. What do you got? Harvest Golem. Harvest Golem's obviously really strong against Fairy Dragon. He had to coin into it though. I think I'm definitely going to play the Tauren Warrior here, just because the taunt protects my Fairy Dragon, and he can't, unless he buffs up his Harvest Golem with the Shattered Sunclare, which is certainly possible, then he doesn't really have a great line to play against this. Slightly awkward next turn. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'd like to draw a 2-drop and play the 2-drop and then play the Ringleader. That'd be nice. So he enrages my guy, Mortal Coils it. Yeah, I thought that was something that was definitely within the realm of possibilities. Good play for him. Oh, and he's got the Blood Imp. That's annoying. So now his thing's at 2 health. I was kind of just going to kill it with my weapon power, my hero power if he did something, but I can't do that now. I may just play a bunch of dudes. When in doubt, play a bunch of dudes. So I could weapon up, which would give my guy charge, or I could just drop the ringleader. And of the two, I think I like the idea of dropping the ringleader. Not going to trade with his harvest golem because he just gets the mini golem. I just put a bunch of minions on the board, but it'll be hard for me to deal with this blood imp. It's really the thorn on my side right now. Like even just that harvest golem should be a 2-1 that I should just be able to take out with my hero power, no problem. But unfortunately, it's a 2-2 and I can't do that. He's looking at my minions. I guess he's just a bit intimidated by the sheer number of minions I have on the board. He may be a bit worried that I'll just continue to play them out faster than he can trade away with them. Drops the harvest golem. Fan and Knives, really good draw for me. I'm definitely playing that. And not much of a follow-up play. I just have to take my daggers out. No sense in trying to kill off his harvest golem. It's gonna be really aggressive here. Next turn I'll play a couple 3-drops. That's the thing about this is the main reason why a deck full of 2-drops and 3-drops is the core of any good deck, is because even if you don't get good later game cards, like the 6-cost cards, you can usually just play 2 of your cheaper cards. So they're versatile. You can play them early on the first turns, turn 2, 2, 3, and then on the later turns, you end up playing multiples of them. But Wild Pyromancer, he just kicks my ass with that card. Talk about value, holy shit. That said, I can still fight back a little bit here. I think of the minions I can play, the Imp Master and the Harvest Golem are the best choices. I am well played for the bit late, but where that guy's called, Wild Pyromancer, he totally whooped my butt with that. Gave him a huge power swing. I'm still looking a bit intimidating on board, just in terms of I have 3 minions, but honestly, they're all terrible minions. Not sure how I'm going to close this one out. And he's got a Sylvanas. Very nice, very nice. That's awkward. I think he's got me. Oh, it's the Flame Imp. That's risky because I don't know if I agree with that play from him. I almost might have just not done that. My minions just stock. Oh god, minion placement bug. Bait of my existence right there. This is a bit awkward. What do I want to do? I think I have to trade with his 3-2. I don't want it to run into my Imp Master. Make him use the Sylvanas to do that. And I actually don't have my hero power up right now. I think I want my hero power active. Which leaves me with a Acolyte of Pain play. Plus probably this Fairy Dragon. So I can knock out his Harvest Golem. There's so little point in trading with Harvest Golems though. Why would I even bother? I don't see why I should bother. That Harvest Golem, I give it permission to live. I mean, what's it going to do? It's just going to try and run into one of my guys instead, or he can try and be aggressive and just finish me off here if he wants. I wouldn't recommend that depending on what he has in his hand. I'm really hoping to draw the eviscerates. That'd be really nice just for that damage. Like if I can somehow draw, I think I've got 2 of them. If the Acolyte of Pain draws me a card. Oh boy, his board is so much better than mine at this point. He's even got the weapon, destroy my weapon card for insult to injury. Well, I'm really lacking solid plays here. I would like to play the Harvest Golem. Well, mini placement bug has been defeated. I guess the Raptor is a better play than weaponing up. And I guess trading with this now is a good idea. Now I have to deal with Sylvanas, though. Darn you, Sylvanas. I still got a fair bit of damage on the board. See who Sylvanas grabs. Oh, that's exactly the card I needed for her not to grab. Oh well. Because I was really relying on him to draw me another card. To hopefully get into another eviscerate to be able to finish my opponent off. Now he's probably going to knock out my 3-2, I imagine, with his 4-6. 6-6. Well, I got a Mad Bomber, which is... I'm not sure how I feel about that. Can't really play it. I suppose my opponent does have more minions on the board than me, but yeah, this is just really awkward all around. He doesn't. The good news is he doesn't have lethal, so I can just. 6-12. My play here is to hope to hell that I draw an eviscerate on my next turn. And if I don't, I lose. I'm pretty much going all in on a top deck of some kind. Oh, no, never mind. He's got your access. Holy shit. Oh wow, there's nothing that can save me now. And he's even got that. Thank you. He's even got the Smiteful Smith to give Draxus an extra 2 attack. The synergy, the synergy. Fuck right off. I'm pretty boned here. I don't think there's any way I can do 15 damage to finish off that Draxus. This is the first time anyone's ever played a Draxus. No, second time I think someone's played a Draxus against me. The first time, he just had absolutely no board control, and I just killed his Draxus on my turn. This is painful. All my stuff is dying. Yep. Well, I'm not a quitter, so I'm not just gonna give up. Play my Mad Bomber. Yeah, my Ventrico. And, yeah, I guess I have to take it to 6-1 here. I love his emotes. Well played. I'll give him my thank. Thank you. It won't do me a lot of good, though. Inferno. And wow, the Draxus was one of my favorite fights. I played an arcane mage, and you could spell steal his buff and do a ton of damage. It was always a fight over who would get spell steal the most stacks, and I usually won that fight. Also, the other big thing about the fight was switching to his portals and volcanoes really fast. Now it's good at making macros to do that target switch really quick. I liked the Draxus fight. He was a fun fight. Simple, but fun. He's got lethal on board now. I get a Core Hound. Could be worse. I just attacked him for shits and giggles. I'm dead no matter what I do. I like to give my opponents a chance to kill me. That was a fun match. I mean, I never like losing, but losing to a Jiraxis like that is one of the better ways you can lose. If I had to choose how I was going to lose the game, that's the classy way to go out, I think. But I mean, I'm not saying like it was the Jiraxis that killed me and the Jiraxis that were bad or anything like that. I think he probably had me even without the Jiraxis. The Jiraxis just added a pretty big comedy factor. So shaky start, 1-1 start. This looks, unless I can rally back, this round might not go well for me. Archmage is pretty bad. The other two cards are pretty good. Ah, look at that curve. Beautiful. Can't imagine a better opening hand than this. It's a good 1-drop, a good 2-drop, a good 3-drop. Curving out. That's what I want. If my opponent doesn't have like void guy. Yep, blood imp. Annoying. Very annoying. But I may be able to fight through it just with the aggression of my own plays. Let's see what else he's got. It's coining. Not an imp master, just anything. Okay, harvest golem. That's good too. Do the same thing I did before, play the Tauren Warrior into the Harvest Golem. It didn't work last time, it got Immortal Coiled, which is one of the big reasons I kind of ended up not doing so hot that game, but I'm going to try it again. If he doesn't have some way to buff up his Harvest Golem, it's a really good play, but realistically, it's not going to work out a lot. The Tauren Warrior is just not a card I like in general. I feel this is one of the few ways you can at least try to get some value out of it. Well, it could be worse. Could be better. So I got a backstab. I clearly have to finish off his knife juggler. Kind of a question just how I want to do it. I guess I just run my minion into it. Backstab the other guy. And if I play Pint-Sized Summoner, he just kills it. If I don't, he just kills my other guy. I guess I just play the Harvest Golem. Blood Imps are just kind of hard for my deck to deal with. Any deck in general, they're hard to deal with, I think. In general, I have a firm stance against nerfing cards. I would like it if Blizzard would just stop buffing and nerfing things and leave the game alone. That said, I think next on the chopping block or on the radar is Blood Imp. He's like mind control. The big problem with it is that there's just not enough answers for him. The good news, I got Betrayal, which is pretty good. I'm obviously playing that. He's still got a couple guys on the board, though. Unfortunately, I can knock them both out, or I could just play a Harvest Golem. I think I like the Harvest Golem play more. I think I will knock one of them out. I may as well. Or I could... No, actually, I'm being greedy. Getting the damage in. I feel that I'm the aggressor here. I'm not too worried about his 2-1. I'm kind of out of gas, though. The only thing I have left in the hand is a Pint-Sized Summoner, who is a generally terrible minion. My choice over her would have been the alchemist. I think in hindsight I may like the alchemist more. So I made a good choice not trading with him since he just traded with me instead. I essentially just gained 2 free damage onto him by pursuing that line of play. Alright, alright. I'm not in a miserable spot here. I got Blade Flurry, which is pretty bad. I still have Deadly Poison somewhere in my deck. Hopefully I can do some kind of Deadly Poison Blade Flurry combo and get some kind of value. I am going to go for this trade just because it is just so efficient. I almost ended turn before playing the Summoner. I get him low, but I'm really out of gas. This deck, it seems like I just can't reach the end zone. Well, he's got another Blood Imp, so I guess I just Blade Flurry now. Bit unfortunate that I can't Blade Flurry and play the Core Hound. So I could just... No, I definitely Blade Flurrying here. And then I recast the weapon. Knock out the minion. So Blade Flurry did okay. It got 1 minion to help me knock a shield off of another one. I mean, not great value, but it killed the Blood Imp, and I need ways to kill Blood Imps, so... Alright, I'm feeling reasonably good here. I'm definitely not going to play the Bomber. Going to just drop the Core Hound. So he can obviously get a pretty favorable trade here with running his Panda into the Core Hound. Oh, come on. Yeah. So he still has to see the trade. Now I've got a somewhat interesting choice on how I want to play this one out. Because you can never predict the Mad Bomber. Come on, Bomber. 2 to the Warlock. Meh. Pretty underwhelming Mad Bomber there. The good news is the enemy is at 2 life. The bad news is I have no cards in hand. But barring some life gain, I should be able to close this one out. Ysera! Well, that's not going to do anything. I've been playing some people with some interesting legendaries. Draxus last time, Ysera this time. I actually don't really like Ysera that much. I don't think she's nearly as strong as most people give her credit for. I've never really seen her win a game. Usually by the time she's played, the game's just already decided. It has to be like a really close game match between 2 really late game decks for her to make a difference. But it's good that I won that one. I was feeling shaky after losing the second game. I've got a lot of my confidence back now. Hopefully they don't play another Warlock. They're tricky. That's all I'm getting today is Warlocks. What's up with this? I get eviscerate, but Betrayal is really good against Blood Imps in particular, but I really need stronger minions, so I'm just going to throw all these cards away. I don't really honestly get what I want. These could be worse, but it could definitely be better. Not feeling good about this match with my opening hand being so weak. And with him playing a Flame Imp already, feeling really bad. Flame Imp's gonna do 9 damage to me. That's ridiculous. That Flame Imp alone is taking away a third of my life. Oh boy, he's even got Demolisher. The good news is that if the Demolisher hits my Tauren Warrior becomes a 5-1 and can kill his Demolisher if he tries to attack it. Bad news is I'm just in a really bad spot. Alright, Fairy Dragon, I can deal with that. And Leper Gnome, that's really aggressive. If he doesn't trade with me, I trade with him. I guess it's still a good play for him to not do it. I can buff my guy up, make him survive the trade if I want. I don't really want to, though. I would rather just do the trade, pop the weapon, knock out the Leper Gnome, play the Raptor. He probably attacks me at this point. He's got me so low. I'm already at 17 life. There's no reason for him to trade his Fairy Dragon for my Raptor. I'm definitely the one who needs to be trading minions. I can't win a damage race at this point. Well, I can at least play the Cleric now to buff up my Raptor. And then my Raptor can trade favorably with the Crocodile. The good news is the Warlock is starting to run out of cards. The bad news is it's a Warlock, and Warlocks never actually run out of cards. And he's in a spot where he can easily just keep life tapping. So I've got a Mad Bomber. This is kind of interesting. Because I can trade with all this stuff and then just play the Bomber. I guess that's the play here. I could just play an Archmage instead. But I don't want to take the damage from that thing. I'm just going to play the Bomber. Reasonably good Bomber. So if I can keep board control somehow, I might be able to rally back. But it's going to be hard, just because he's going to have a much larger supply of cards. But at the same time, if he keeps using his hero power, that really limits how much mana he has to commit stuff to the board. We'll see. Alright, well the Yeti Blood Imp isn't that bad, because I can trade and live. Get an Eviscerate, which will help me finish. I might even just go to the face with the Eviscerate. I do have the Auctioneer on the board. At the same time, though, I think I like the idea of just dropping the Archmage. Well, no, because... Maybe the Auctioneer and the Harvest Golem is my strongest play here. How much damage do I have? I have 14 damage. Oh, do I have lethal? Did I just do the almost? 14... Okay, I have lethal. The Eviscerate is enough to put me over the top. So Eviscerate showing its strong use there, not only as removal, but also just really good when you need it to finish your opponent off. Same deal with the Core Hound. If he stays on the board, then he can just rip their face right off. That's what he did. The face rip. So rallying back from my loss up to 3-1. I hate it when I don't get 5 wins, which doesn't happen often, but Anything less than 5 is a real failure to me. 5 is also a failure, but it's one I can live with. I'm not embarrassed about only getting 5 wins. When I get fewer than 5, though, I'm a bit embarrassed. Well, it's not a warlock. I'm happy about that. Torn warrior, pretty borderline. Ventrico mercenary, also borderline. Just gonna throw everything away though. Get some 2-drops. I really want my 2-drops. All right, I can feel this. I like the Flesh Eating Ghoul. I haven't really had a chance to play him yet in any of my games, I don't think. I might actually coin into the pint-sized summoner here, which is a bit strange. But if my opponent doesn't play a 1-drop, then she should hopefully live, and that means I can play the Flesh Eating Ghoul on turn 2. Which seems like a strong line of play to me. If you're going to play the pint-sized summoner, I think coining into her is the best way to do it. Get her down right away. And then if she stays, she's getting some really good value. I do have a leper now, alternatively, but I'm going to be aggressive and just go for it. Now that I got a 1-drop, instead of playing the Ghoul, I might even just play the Raptor and the Leper Gnome. Uh-oh. Ah, fuck right off. That's really unlucky. Well, I guess there's not much I can do now. I'm angry about that. Nothing worse than the Mad Bomber. Not really the point for Betrayal. I could play the Ghoul, but then he just gets eaten by the Bomber. I might play the Acolyte of Pain. So many options. I do have quite a few options here. Not Betrayal. Not the Ghoul. I'm just gonna play the Acolyte of Pain. It's pretty weak in that it doesn't commit a lot to board, but he's kind of annoying to deal with. My opponent might just want to run into him now, and I'm fine with that. If my opponent has a silence, it's kind of a bad play. It works out. Still not prime time for Betrayal. The good news is Flesh-Eating Ghoul can survive being hit by the raid leader. So I'm happy to play the Ghoul now. Oh shoot. I'm just bad. For some reason I thought I was going to kill... I thought I had my weapon out and I thought I was going to kill the Mad Bomber, but the Mad Bomber is going to continue to kick my ass and just eat my my Flesh-Eating Ghoul. Poor play. Having a rough time in this one. Oh, and he can even... I forgot about his hero power as well. He can just eat my Leper Gnome. Not a really bad turn for me there. Don't mess with Tusker. Well, I get to play Betrayal. It's the good news. The bad news is I don't really get to do much else other than just nothing, really. And it's not even that good of a Betrayal, honestly. Here we go. Really awkward. The positive news is I've got a lot of just big, dumb minions that hopefully will be able to get me back board control, because I'm pretty far behind on board control right now. Deckhand's a nice draw, because it goes with sort of my other plays. Here we go. The really bad news about the Ventrico Mercenary, though, is I've got nothing else to play. The cards I have in my hand all cost 8 or more now. So depending on what I draw, it might end up really awkward for me. But still, I can kill a 2/7, which is very important. If my druid opponent plays a lot of the really big dumb druid minions, like the 8/8 with taunt or the 5/10 with taunt, any of those just really big taunt guys are going to be a big problem for me. I hope he just doesn't have minions that are bigger than mine. Alright, I'm okay with that. My Venture Co manages to get a bit of value. I think it's just going to be another Venture Co here, and probably eviscerate his guy just to get rid of it.
You gotta be kidding me!
He's not the biggest threat in the world, but still the best play for me. And now I do have 8 mana, so I can afford the Azure Drake if my Venture Co Mercenary stays on the board, which I hope that he will. Mountain Giant. That's one of the things I was kind of afraid of. Well, I can knock it out with a Shattered Sun Cleric, I guess. Is that even that good of a play? It's really not that awe-inspiring a play. It's almost better just to be aggressive and go for the kill. I'm going to take a big risk here and get aggressive. And I'm making the bet that he has to kill my Venture Co Mercenary. It's a really big risk, but I think I need to take it. I'm just not comfortable about my position. I feel that I really need to close this game out if I want to win it. And that 8 damage from the Venture Co is obviously a huge part of closing. Like, I think that if I don't start swinging in for 8 on that opportunity, I'm just going to not have any opportunities to do damage and finish the game. My opponent's is so high life, and I'm really afraid of his late game compared to mine.
I must safeguard.
Okay. Fine, he silences me. I thought that could happen. Or he could just give this guy +1/+1. Oh, and interesting, because he's not going to be able to replay that guy for very cheap. Not the way I thought this would go. Not the way I thought it would work out at all. The Core Hound, unfortunately, will die if I play it, so I don't really want to play it. I guess I just have to play the Azure Drake. She draws me into another Harvest Golem. Bit of a choice with what to do with my weapon here. I think I'm just gonna chip 1 damage into him. Still really worried about this game. My opponent plays any sort of threatening minion like that. Now I don't think I can win now. I just can't punch through that huge guy. Like, obviously my Core Hound can trade with it, but if I played my Core Hound last turn, he just would have 2 for, or 1 for 2'd it, whatever you want to call it. He would have run both his minions into it. Interestingly, they ran both his minions into my Drake. I guess he's just really afraid of spell damage. I guess I can see that. This is awkward, but I guess I just play the Core Hound and the Harvest Golem. There's not much else to do. I have an Eviscerate to do a bit of damage to him, but I'm just not going to be able to close this one out. He's probably going to want to trade. Well, no, this guy's got taunt, so he'd be really stupid to attack me. Well, it's safe. If I draw a silence, if I drew a silence, then I might just have lethal. Don't draw a silence, so I don't have lethal. However, I can do the trade. I think I do have to kill his 8/8. I can't leave that on the board. I can kill it somewhat efficiently thanks to my harvest golems, essentially.
Here we go.
I feel that he's probably got a Starfall. I'm pretty high chance of seeing a Starfall here. If he has that, I'm pretty boned. He's definitely in control of this game, I think. Despite the fact that I've got a board, his card should be able to be able to overcome my board. Oh god, another huge dumb guy. Oh boy, I can't even kill his 8/8. I can't attack it because then it kills me. I'm gonna run the 2/1 into it just so he doesn't use his hero power to eat my 2/1. Not gonna run the 3/2 into it. No real point. I'm just pretty dead. I've been pretty dead for a while. I had a slight chance of winning if I had drawn a taunt that turn, and just because I would have had lethal, I think.
My shield for Argus.
His Mad Bomber, I think, won him the game. If his Mad Bomber didn't knock out my guy, I think I had him. Well, I'm gonna kill. I'm not gonna kill. I could kill it out of spite, but that's too bad about that Mad Bomber. I think the game really would have been a completely different game if you didn't have that Mad Bomber. Because not only was it like it didn't just remove my pint-sized summoner, but it removed it and kicked its butt. So this looks like it may be a bad run for me. I may not be playing Rogue again anytime soon. If I can only get 3 wins, that's really bad. Really, really, really bad. The good news is that it'll upload to YouTube faster. That's the only positive spin I can put on a 3-win run, though. But honestly, that last match, I lost it. But really, I think if we had a do-over, then my deck would beat his deck. His deck was just so top-heavy that I think I should have been able to kill him before he got to that high end of his deck. But he just had the early stuff he needed. Not too sure about the Phantom Knives here. Or the Easier Drake. She's pretty good, but yeah, I might keep the Easier Drake. I'll keep her. I normally don't keep cards that expensive, but she's just so good. She's definitely a card I want to play in almost all my games. Got a pretty decent curve working out here. I think I might use my coin here. Just pop the weapon. And I like coining out this guy.
Here we go.
Be pretty aggressive here. It's what I want to happen. Try and get as much damage in as I can before I enter Holy Nova range. Alright, I'm fine with that guy. I take a couple damage and just trade with it. That's perfectly acceptable, really. Make sure to hit it with the hero first, so my hero doesn't take the enraged damage. And ditch the Leper Gnome. Slight choice here. I like playing the Imp Master as early as possible, generally speaking. That's going to be what I'm going to do. Next turn looks like I'll be playing the Weapon and the Raptor, more than likely. Alright, that's a really weak play. And Holy Smite's pretty underwhelming for him as well. Alright, eviscerate's a really good draw here. Fantastic, couldn't be happier with that. So I'll just play the raptor and knock at his taunt guy. So Holy Nova here is not even that bad. It just barely 2-for-1s me. I mean, those imps are all from my Blood Master guy, so I won't be too upset if he Holy Novas me right now. Alright, well, he's got a powered shield, I hope, maybe? No? Okay. Okay, I'm feeling really good about this one. So I can knock that guy out, play the Drake. The only bad thing is, I'm really not doing very much damage. I'm keeping board control, but I'm being really slow to take him down. But that's alright. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of cards. It's not like he's been building up a card advantage. Actually, flip side, I've got the card advantage. When it's my turn, I'll have one more card than he will. So I've got more cards in hand and stuff on the board.
I am the blade.
Couldn't want to beat. Nothing that I could really think of that would make this better. Everything's going my way, essentially. Alrighty. So I've got the backstab, which actually does 3 damage because of my dude. So I'm probably going to want to backstab his guy. Oh, I almost screwed it up though. You have to backstab it first. Then after that, I just put stuff on the board. Kind of suck if I get Holy Nova. Whoops! Yeah, that was a bad play because my Imp Master didn't have room to make an Imp. I really shouldn't have played the Defiance Ring Leader. He was kind of unnecessary.
Ready, sir. Bring me steel.
Alrighty. Time for the lethal check. 2, 4, 8, 12, 15, 16. Does this benefit from spell damage? So close to lethal. I just don't know if Blade Flurry benefits from spell damage. 4, 6, 10, 13, 14. Well, start things off with the easy decisions. That's an easy decision. I guess this is a pretty easy call as well. Playing the Core Hounds seems like a good choice.
Looking at me.
I'll say sorry, just because I was really slow about my turn. I should have been faster. I was just trying to think about Blade Flurry and stuff. So he copies my taunt guy. For all the good it won't do him. Because now I easily have lethal. That match was pretty quick and dirty. I just played more stuff than he could handle, essentially, and he didn't have any board sweepers. Alright. Going for win number 5 now. The one where if I don't get it, I'll be pretty disappointed. Both, I don't know. I feel that I'm at 4-2, which isn't great, but I feel that I could be at more. I mean, my losses, one of them was just because of the Mad Bomber, and the other one was just to the Warlock deck with Blood Imps. I've had a lot of hard opponents. Even some of my wins were pretty close. Just gonna keep the Raptor. Hopefully get a nice 3-drop. Could be worse, could be better. The ghoul's a pretty reasonably good draw. He's coining into not a knife juggler, just not a knife juggler. Fairy dragon. Okay, I'm happy about that. I'll play my own fairy dragon. If he doesn't trade with me and he gets greedy and goes to the face, then I can play my ghoul and maybe buff up. Oh, but he's got divine shield, so he's pretty happy to. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Huh. Alright. Well, the ghoul dies to his fairy dragon. I think I like weaponing and playing the deckhand. The deckhand trades there. My weapon knocks his shield off. I almost don't want to trade with his 3-2 just because my ghoul wants to get buffed up from it. I'm gonna go for the damage. It's a bit greedy. Actually, what it is just dumb. I could have easily killed his 3-2 instead of his 2-2. So I take kind of a needless damage there. But that's okay. My ghoul plan's working out. So now I do the trade. And I've got a really big ghoul. He can True Silver Champion it probably, or Hammer of Wrath. He's got some answers. That's a pretty good answer. I got a bit of a choice here. The Ventricle Mercenary is a good play, but I really don't want to leave myself without any options for next turn. So I'd almost rather play the other 2 cards. That's probably what I'm going to do.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
It's a bit of an iffy decision. Like I said, I really don't like taking the risk of playing Ventricle Mercenary and having nothing to do the next turn, which is what could have happened.
Mind if I roll need? I am not a morning person.
Not the best Blade Flurry here, really, or the Trail, I mean. I might do it anyway, though. It's kind of a waste of a card. I feel I really didn't use Blade Flurry to its full potential there, but that play just left me with a really sour taste in my mouth. I don't know. Not Blade Flurry, whatever, Betrayal. I didn't use Betrayal, but I feel Betrayal is worth more. It's a good card, and I just didn't get hardly anything out of it. So he's gonna knock out my Imp Master, probably. No, he's gonna go for the 4-2. Alright. I might have gone for the Imp Master if I was him. Now is the time for the Pint-Sized Summoner and Ventrico. Knock out this guy, just because. I'm in an okay spot. The Ventrico Mercenary is a pretty huge threat. But he's, again, got a ton of cards in hand. The style of deck I make with so many cheap minions, I almost always put myself in the position where I just play out my hand as fast as I can and try and get the win. Alright, Ventrico Mercenary just takes out the charge of True Silver Champion, and I mean, he gets some damage in because he attacked him with a weapon. So I could Blade Flurry to kill his ooze. That sounds kind of silly. Definitely playing this though. Just not sure if I even want to bother trading with his ooze. I'd almost rather just get the damage in. I mean, he can eat one of my 1-power guys, like my Imp Master. He could eat the Imp Master with it if he really wants now, but... Ah, Consecrate. Alright, well... Oh, no, you don't have to be sorry about that. Well played. He's got lethal. Ugh. Wait a minute. That's a miracle win. I feel cheap about winning the game that way. Um, with no cards in hand, nothing on board, my opponent having lethal, it's skin of your teeth kind of win right there, and exactly lethal, no less. But I find the lethal, just barely, and close it out. Another hard win. So I got 5, which is my minimum. I've had a rough road to 5, so again, 5 is kind of like my minimum acceptable thing. From here, I think I'll be lucky if I can win any more, honestly. I just squeaked through to 5. But we'll see if I can squeak a little bit further. Squeak my way up to 7, maybe even 8, you never know. Well, I do have the extra card, so I could think about keeping the pint-sized summoner just in case I draw another 2-drop. She might be a good thing to have in your opening hand. I'll try her out. I tried her once before on turn 1 coining her and it did not work for me. But I'm willing to give her a second chance. Not really a good hand for her because if I play her turn 2, there's not much I want to do with her on turn 3. She's going to make my Acolyte of Pain cheaper. I don't know. We'll see what I draw. I suppose turn 3 I could end up coining out a turn 3 Ventricle Mercenary. That could be strong. I mean, who expects Ventricle Mercenary on turn 3? No one. That only works if he cannot answer the pint-sized summoner, which he should be able to. There's a big difference between coining it out on turn 1 and playing it a bit later. Interesting. That's playing with fire, buddy. You're not gonna... Wow. Alright. So, I play this pint-sized summoner. He just kills it, but sometimes you gotta bite the bullet. Or bite the fiery war axe in this case. So there's not gonna be any turn 3. Ah, cleave. Bloody hell. Oh, is he ever being greedy with his weapon, though? Don't really want to play the Fairy Dragon when he's got a weapon. I'd rather just play the Acolyte of Pain and be a bit annoying. Alright, choices. Choice number 1 is just coining into the Ventricle Mercenary. Choice number 2 is using a weapon, deadly poison, and coining into the Fairy Dragon. I think I might do that. Deadly weapon, poison, coin, Fairy Dragon. Attack! My opponent's done a pretty good job of keeping board control with his 2-for-1 cleave plus his 2-for-1 fiery war axe. Hopefully I can start to regain control of the board just with the power of Ventrico Mercenaries. He can just take me really low if he wants, though. Betrayal, interesting. Not going to play it quite yet, rather just going to play the Ventrico. Don't really have any good plays for next turn. It's the biggest problem in my situation. Got another Ventrico if he kills my first one. He might just do 4 damage to me. Ah, the big game hunter. Alright. Times are tough. Betrayal is pretty obviously the play. Which kind of forces me into the Raptor and the weapon. I could attack the big game hunter with the weapon, but doesn't strike me as being the best play. He's going to hit me with the hunter now. I don't think he wants to trade. I'm so low. He's just trying to finish me off, and I'm just trying to survive at this point. Lord of the Arena prevents me from trading with his other guy, and will do a ton of damage to me as well. The good news is he doesn't have lethal. The bad news is he can take me down to 1 life, and there's nothing I can do about it. I guess I just have to play the dragon and the Ventrico. In all probability, I'm dead here, though. Just about anything finishes me off. I'll be very surprised if I live for another turn here. And even if I do, I'm not looking like I'm in a very good spot afterward.
Well played. Back to work. Well played.
I'm toast. So not the best run for me. I only get up to 5 wins, which is... It's a disappointment, but it's not a crushing disappointment. I can live with myself. The high end for the deck was kind of sketchy. It just didn't really come together at all. I needed maybe some better early game plays, like the SI7 agent. He could have really done some work. There are a lot of things I could have made that deck better. Don't get my gold back. That's okay. I always buy another pack. Pick up another pack. I only get to open 2 packs this time. Let's see what I get. Oh, a Sea Giant. That's a great card. I'm happy to get a Sea Giant. And... I already have a couple Masters of Disguise, but... Oh well. Well, that was an interesting run. I didn't get as far as I would have liked, but I guess that means it's more bite-sized for viewers out there. So I hope you liked it, and tell me what you think about my audio this time, since I did something a bit different. See you over and out.